Have you ever looked up at the night sky and wondered if we're truly alone in the universe? Throughout history, countless people from all walks of life have reported strange unexplainable sightings in the skies, mysterious lights, unusual shapes, and objects moving in ways and speeds that defy the general laws of physics by leaps and bounds. And today, we will dive into some of the most baffling UFO sightings ever recorded, footages that raise more questions than answers. Are these sightings proof of extraterrestrial visitors, or is there a more earthly explanation? Number 1. Multiplying UFOs seen in England. Being the hotspot for crop circles in the world, it comes as no surprise that multiple UFOs are spotted all over England. This particular sighting took place in Warminster, England, which is about 100 miles from London. A passenger was sitting in his parked car when he suddenly noticed something abnormal flying in the sky. Initially he thought it's just a couple of helicopters surveying the area, but soon he realized they were something else. On zooming in, he was shocked to see two bright orbs moving equidistant from each other, in perfect synchronized fashion. The two orbs then continued moving forward, and got hidden by the hill in front of them. But instead of appearing on the other side of the hill, they didn't, but they were visible a few seconds later, implying that they were using some kind of cloaking technology to hide themselves from humans. And what the eyewitness saw after this literally made his jaw drop. These two UFOs then split into 5 smaller orbs, further bewildering onlookers. And not just that, they continued flying around the hill, performing coordinated maneuvers, like fighter jets at an air show. How can two UFOs suddenly split into 5? Or were the remaining 3 UFOs just playing invisible all this time? Number 2, fast-moving UFO seen by a drone. UFOs are normally seen at night, as most of them emit bright lights. But some people are fortunate enough to see UFOs even in broad daylight. Like this sighting that took place in Plymouth, Wisconsin in 2017. An amateur photographer and drone enthusiast was ready to take advantage of the stormy weather to record its video. He wanted to get a few shots of the lightning, very close to the stormy clouds, and for that he decided to use a drone. But his drone ended up capturing something that left him utterly confused. At first, it seems like a normal stationary farmland shot, but then out of nowhere, a white orb just suddenly zooms past the camera, with lightning speed. No man-made craft can move so fast, and at that time, the photographer's drone was the only one flying in the sky. The white orb moving so quickly out of sight very much resembles the orb seen in Ibiza, Spain this year. That white orb also was tiny in size, but sped away at thousands of miles per hour. Here is the other side of the shot, where you can clearly see the orb moving away rapidly. The photographer once again captured the white orb, this time having a weird wave-like motion, and appearing as if it descended from the cloud. What must be the purpose of such tiny orbs in our sky? Or are these tiny orbs mere weather-manipulating devices? Number 3, cigar-shaped UFO seen over wildfire in Los Angeles. Wildfires are one of the worst calamities to ever strike mankind. They often cause loss and damage of property, amounting to millions of dollars, and in worst cases even claim lives. People are often safely evacuated before the fire reaches them. But the horrid Woolsey fire of 2018 supposedly caught the attention of beings from another world. In November 2018, a massive wildfire broke out in Woolsey, California. The fire burned 96,949 acres of land, destroyed 1,643 structures, killed 3 people, and prompted the evacuation of more than 295,000 people. News channels from all over America were reporting the incident. And one local news channel chopper tried to get as close as possible to the forest wildfires. But as the news channel was recording its chopper flying over the wildfire, viewers noticed something very eerie hovering in the sky. A very faint, black, cigar-shaped UFO was seen hovering right over the massive smoke cloud. The UFO moved very slowly, but it was distinctly visible because of the clear blue background. This UFO closely resembled the black disc-shaped UFO seen in Florida in 2021. This similar-looking UFO was stationary throughout the entire duration of the recording. But going back to the wildfire UFO, why was it flying over such an area of great devastation? Was it trying to help the people or animals still stuck in the wildfire? Number 4. Bizarre UFO seen near airplane over Aegean Sea. UFOs seen at extremely high altitudes by pilots is somewhat of a common occurrence. From a UFO about to collide with a commercial airplane, to a metallic cube seen by an airline pilot in Colombia, aliens don't seem to be shy when it comes to making an appearance in front of man-made aircrafts. And this pattern continued in 2018 near Greece. A passenger aboard a plane flying over the Aegean Sea captured footage of a strange object flying alongside the aircraft. The object executed several maneuvers that appeared impossible for any known aircraft to perform. Once again, this aircraft had an elongated cigar shape, but this time around, it kept rotating from right to left, at one point of time even becoming perpendicular, thus perplexing all the passengers on that flight. And later it moved far away, leaving a trail of black smoke. Was this an actual UFO, or some kind of advanced military tech considering it left black contrails? Number 5. UFO seen in Texas in 2022. Texas is somewhat of a hotspot for UFO sightings, considering that it is the second largest state in the United States of America. In our previous videos, we have talked about a UFO seen over Houston, Texas in 2014. Many residents witnessed a huge circular craft, hovering in the night sky, having a total of 12 bright lights. Another UFO was later seen in Tomball, Texas in 2018, where 3 bright lights appeared and then suddenly disappeared, only to reappear again. Then in April 2022, in a town called Kyle, a strange UFO was captured on camera emanating an orange glow. But the UFO that we are going to talk about appeared to be stationary and hovering in one spot. This weird UFO was spotted by multiple witnesses all over Texas. And unlike the UFO seen over Houston in 2014, this UFO had just 5 bright lights. But the green-colored light it was emitting resembled the UFOs seen in Tehran, Iran and Chennai, India, just a few months ago. To be honest, this UFO very closely resembled the one seen in Chennai, as that UFO too was showing exactly 5 green lights. One of the eyewitnesses even mentioned that the UFO was not making any kind of sound while hovering right over her, which is impossible as any flying object should have some moving parts, but this UFO didn't seem to have any. How technologically advanced are these superior beings, that their crafts are able to navigate with such high speeds, without making any kind of sound? Number 6. Triangular UFO seen from a doorbell camera in England. Off late, there has been a rise in sightings of UFOs forming a triangular shape, and emitting 3 lights. Like the UFO recorded from a doorbell camera in Sunrise, Florida, and the UFO seen in Tomball, Texas in 2018. And a similar triangular UFO was spotted over England in 2022. The eyewitness and his friend were at home, watching football on TV, when his phone buzzed with an alert from the doorbell camera, saying someone was outside. Expecting to see a visitor on his doorstep, he checked the footage. But instead of a person, he was shocked to find the camera had been triggered by something in the sky. There, moving slowly above the rooftops, were three bright lights forming a triangle, gliding from right to left across the screen. This footage closely resembles the UFO also seen from a doorbell camera in Florida. The England UFO also seems to be moving at the same laid-back pace as the Florida UFO. Were these the same UFOs keeping a close watch on humans in that area? Number 7. Cigar-shaped UFO floating over Montana. This is one of the recent UFO sightings that took place in June 2024, over the mountainous state of Montana. From a distance, this UFO resembles some cylindrical bacteria when seen under the microscope. But on zooming in, you can clearly see a cigar-shaped UFO illuminated high up in the sky, gliding at a very slow pace. And even though the UFO was far away, it is clearly visible that the UFO was giving off lights of different colors. Pretty much like the UFO seen in Palmdale, California in 2024. Another person from Montana also recorded the same UFO, but with a night vision camera. This time around, the UFO was bent at a 30-degree angle, making the observer feel that the UFO was descending slowly, and planning to land somewhere in the mountains. An identical brightly illuminated cigar-shaped UFO was also spotted at the world-famous Esidi Ranch, located in Trout Lake, Washington. Here, the eyewitness was able to zoom in a lot more, showing the UFO giving off a greenish light, but moving at the same laid-back pace like that of a hot air balloon. In this video too, the UFO later tilted at a 30-degree angle, as if it was about to descend and land. Surprisingly, this sighting took place in 2021. Why are such cigar-shaped elongated UFOs slowly moving over Montana and Washington? Were they returning to their secret base somewhere in the mountains? Number 8. Chattanooga UFO. This sighting took place in Chattanooga, Tennessee in 2023. This UFO was recorded in the middle of the night, from a home security camera facing towards the sky. Initially you can clearly see the night sky, with the stars shining brightly in the background. Then suddenly from the bottom right, you see one of the stars moving slowly upwards, and then it suddenly stops right in its position, camouflaging itself among the blanket of stars. Then out of nowhere, it rapidly moves to the left and takes a complete U-turn, and moves rapidly towards the right, while moving out of the field of vision of the security camera. It should be taken into consideration that the distance the UFO was covering in such a short time was enormous, easily making it a craft moving at thousands of miles per hour. The rapid speed with which it zipped out of the frame resembled the white orb-like UFO seen in Ibiza, Spain. The Ibiza UFO moved more quickly as compared to this UFO. But if aliens are capable of traveling at such high speeds, what else can we expect of them? Number 9. Strange lights seen over temple in India. In the last few months, India has had many UFO sightings, making UFO hunters believe that aliens might be having a secret base in India. In 2024 alone, UFOs have been spotted in Nagpur and also in Chennai. And just recently, a UFO sighting took place over a temple, where lots of people were gathered for a religious festival. Suddenly strange lights appeared in the sky, shocking all the devotees. These lights quickly disappeared and appeared again, moving in an erratic fashion. At one point, you can see 3 lights shining brightly, suggesting that a minimum of 3 UFOs were in the sky. In the past, we have seen UFOs teleporting from one point in the sky to another, and here also, we see a similar movement for a few seconds. But then, that is followed by the UFOs moving erratically in the sky. Number 10. UFO flying over a boat marina. Exact location and time of this sighting has not been confirmed, but it's highly likely that it took place somewhere over North America. Were these some kind of probes keeping a watch over areas with huge crowds? Initially, onlookers thought it was just a helicopter, but the person recording the video knew that something was just not right. So he continued filming the object as it moved at a decent speed high up in the sky. Eventually he zoomed in on the object, and what he saw would definitely give you goosebumps. This is unlike any of the UFOs we have seen in the past, neither having a triangular or disc-like shape. Even the size seemed relatively smaller, and more like an alien probe that was carrying out a reconnaissance mission. The UFO seemed to have a very distinctive shape, and resembled the futuristic probes we have seen in Hollywood science fiction movies. The footage gets very eerie as it might be one of the clearest UFO sightings in broad daylight, unlike most of the sightings that occur mostly during nighttime. The fact that the alien probe was not moving too quickly, making it easily visible to humans, goes to show that they had no fear of being tracked or even caught. Number 11. Pyramid-shaped UFO over Moscow. It comes as no surprise that UFO activity is quite high over the largest country in the world, just like the USA. The sheer landmass covered by Russia, coupled with many isolated areas because of the extreme cold conditions, serves as a perfect area for UFOs who want to maintain their secrecy. In our previous videos, we have spoken about 2 hostile encounters that the Russian Navy had with aliens in Lake Baikal, which is notorious for its UFO activity. And in one of these encounters, the Russian Navy even came face to face with underwater aliens, but that didn't end well for the divers. Is Lake Baikal and Russia in general serving as a huge base for aliens on Earth? But moving back to the pyramid-shaped UFO over Moscow, on seeing the footage, you can clearly see a giant pyramid-shaped object hovering among the dark clouds. The UFO is not distinctly visible like other UFOs we have seen in the past, emitting bright lights, like the UFO over Tehran or the one over Palmdale, California. This UFO seemed to have some kind of advanced cloaking technology, leaving only its silhouette perceivable to the human eye. It also didn't move from its location during the entire recording, going to show that it was definitely doing some kind of reconnaissance over the Russian capital. Initially you will think it's a triangle-shaped UFO, but later on, the distinct pyramid shape of the UFO becomes eerily visible, giving goosebumps to the onlookers. There was even a news report on the alleged object hovering above the city.
The Sun reported Friday a large, unidentified flying object hovering over Moscow's Kremlin. According to the Sun, witnesses said the pyramid-shaped object could be as big as a mile wide. And while Russian reports have ruled out UFO speculation, the Sun says the police have refused to comment.
Shockingly, a few years ago, a similar pyramid-shaped UFO was seen hovering right over the Pentagon in the USA. Here too, the UFO was using its advanced cloaking technology, making it almost impossible to view with the naked eye. Why are these giant pyramid-shaped UFOs seen over strategic areas of 2 of the world's biggest superpowers? Are they merely doing reconnaissance or planning something sinister? Number 12. Triangular UFO spotted right over the house. A couple were spending a nice private moment on their front porch, when an abnormal craft in the night sky interrupted their romantic get-together. What they saw left them totally dumbstruck. They saw 3 bright white lights coming from a craft having a triangular shape, and 1 smaller red light coming from the exact center of that unusual craft. On zooming in further, they could clearly make out the triangular shape of the craft. This was unlike the other triangular UFOs seen in Tomball, Texas and in Sunrise, Florida, where the 3 UFOs moved independently in different directions after some time. This also closely resembled the triangular UFO seen by the night vision camera from the destroyer USS Russell in 2019. The government's classified briefing clearly mentioned that the triangular UFO was definitely not owned by the United States, or any other country, or even a private spaceflight firm. Some would say that this UFO was just the Northrop B-2 Spirit, also known as the stealth bomber, but this heavy strategic bomber of the U.S. Air Force is not known to possess hovering capabilities. The size of the craft cannot be gauged, but the proximity of that UFO to the house is enough to send shivers down the spine of any human being. Number 13. Multiple UFOs chase fishermen. Just like the night sky, our oceans also serve as a hotspot for UFO sightings. The U.S. Navy has encountered UFOs on multiple occasions when at sea, like the spherical UFOs seen off the coast of San Diego. This hostile confrontation took place in July 2019. These UAPs swarmed around multiple Navy warships for hours, thus showing blatant lack of fear for the U.S. Army. One of those ships, the USS Omaha, encountered as many as 14 of the UFOs all at the same time. One of the objects, a self-illuminated sphere at least 6 feet in diameter, flew alongside the Omaha for an extended period and was observed through a thermal sensor. Then later it just disappeared into the ocean. A similar kind of threat was recently faced by fishermen at sea at an unidentified location. These fishermen were deep-sea fishing on a boat when they noticed these strange lights shining brightly on the horizon. You can see multiple bright orange lights floating over the water, but if you look closely, you will see 4 lights clubbed together, making them 4 separate UFOs equidistant from each other. Sensing some kind of danger, the fishermen started moving away from these UFOs. But it got even scarier when these UFOs started chasing them at a great speed. The fishermen could sense that the UFOs were closing in on them very quickly, and at one point they even feared for their lives. What happened with these fishermen is unknown, as the clip doesn't go any further. But we hope that they were able to escape these hostile UFOs that were chasing them for God knows what. Number 14. Rubber Duck UFO. The rubber duck incident took place on November 23, 2019, in the vicinity of the Nellis Air Force Base, in Nevada. It was shot from a reconnaissance plane, with a forward-looking infrared camera. As they were overlooking the landscape, an object came into view, moving rapidly from right to left. The UFO was moving swiftly, notably against the wind, with high speed, without any visible means of propulsion, proving that it was not a balloon. The odd rubber duck-like shape of the object caught the attention of many UFO enthusiasts, with many naming it the rubber duck UFO. A recent paper by the Scientific Coalition of UAP Studies declared that it was a genuine UFO. This sighting was very similar to the UFO hovering over the Puerto Rico airport in April 2013, which exhibited a similar flight pattern. Number 15. Helicopter chasing UFO in Papua New Guinea in 2020. A video surfaced from Papua New Guinea, showing what appeared to be a helicopter chasing a UFO. Recorded by a local resident, the footage displayed a fast-moving object in the sky, which was being pursued by a helicopter. The UFO had a very odd shape, unlike any we've seen in the past. It showed 2 cylindrical objects revolving around it, but not connected to it in any visible way. The pursuit didn't last long, as the UFO moved away at a much faster speed, before it successfully evaded the helicopter and disappeared into the sky. While there hasn't been any official confirmation or explanation from authorities, the video became a point of discussion among UFO enthusiasts worldwide, because of the unique revolving objects around it. Number 16. Black disc-shaped UFO in Florida. The sighting over Jupiter, Florida, on March 21, 2021, involved a strange object hovering in the sky, which was seen and captured by multiple witnesses. The object was described as a large cylindrical, or cigar-shaped craft, hovering silently in the same position, for the entire duration of the recording. The sighting happened during daytime, over the well-populated area of Jupiter, allowing for a clear observation. This sighting looked eerily similar to the stationary UFO seen by Ukrainian soldiers during the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. Both these UFOs continued to hover in the same position, without any fear of being detected or attacked on. Were aliens trying to make some kind of contact with humanity?